Back behind me is our beautiful homestead. On just a couple acres, we're providing all of our family's meat, plus a whole lot of other things. In today's video, I want to show you how a family with a couple acre homestead can provide so much of their own food. Six years ago, we moved to this piece of property. At the time, it was not a farm, it wasn't a homestead. There was a beautiful little well-built home, 1,600 square feet, and 10 gorgeous acres, which we saw nothing but potential in. As soon as we moved in, we started preparing for a small farm. At the time, we just were thinking about having a couple chickens, maybe a few goats. But over these last 6 years, this has grown into a homestead that really produces. That's the biggest difference between a home and a homestead. When you think of a home does nothing but cost someone money. It costs them money to own, to run. It consumes. A homestead produces. And we're gonna take a tour around my homestead today. We're gonna show you how we're producing all the feed that our family eats more than feed. We're gonna show you how our homestead produces all our meat, as well as a lot more. So let's go take a walk through the homestead. We're starting our tour up on this hill. This hill you can see is a very bright green. It's new pasture grass. We planted all this grass. It's not just fescue like you might find in a lawn. This is rye, peas, beans, red clover, and timothy. All really good pasture mix. Instead of having just a green lawn that just produces grass, when a homesteader plants a lawn, they should think about how they can use that lawn for pasturing animals. In the future, we'll have our cow, maybe some sheep and goats up here. All kinds of animals will be able to use this hill. It also makes for a really great sledding hill for the kids. Here we have a swing set and our lawn. Sometimes us homesteaders can be kind of down on lawns. Oh, if you don't have a garden in there, it's a waste of space. A lawn is a great area for your kids to play, to spend time as a family, and it is nice to have some lawn that doesn't have a bunch of animal poo all over it. This is an area that's for us to enjoy being outside and observing the rest of the homestead. Now let's get to the real productive part. Here we have 2 turkeys. Originally these 2 turkeys were 2 of 17. They were going to be for meat. Since they were the only 2 survivors, they're becoming a bit more like mascots for the farm. Over here you'll see our ducks. We have 4 Muscovy ducks and 1 drake. Don is the drake, Don Draker, and Betty. They're here for eggs and meat. Muscovies are a nice dual purpose. They have a very large body, so you can get a lot of meat out of the males. The females lay eggs. They're not the best egg layers. They're not the most prolific of egg layers, but they do lay nice big eggs. So the ducks are free range. They're out patrolling the grasses and the leaves for slugs and bugs, and they're really good foragers. So Muscovies, great option for a homestead. There's Bones, that's my bird dog, and he doesn't bother the ducks, or the turkeys you'll notice, or the chickens. He knows better. If your family's like mine, you probably go through a lot of chicken. We eat chicken at least once a week. Sometimes we'll have it for dinner, and then the next day we'll have the leftovers for lunch. So behind me here you see our chicken setup. We have 2 chicken tractors, 1, 2. We have a big bunch of poultry netting around the outside of this pasture here, and a divider down the middle. This year we raised Rangers and Cornish crosses. Rangers are kind of a hybrid of the Cornish cross with more heritage breeds. Cornish cross are your commercial breed. If you're looking to raise enough chicken for the entire year, our family raises usually around 50 to last us the whole year. We're a family of 6. Our kids are still young, so they don't eat as much as I'm sure they will in a couple of years. Somewhere around 50 chickens. To do that, you only need a couple chicken tractors, some poultry netting. Every year we raise the meat birds. We like the meat birds because they grow faster and they produce a very big product. We also have egg-laying chickens, which we'll go see next. Now we gotta kind of sneak up on them. Our egg layers are all throughout the woods here. Having the egg layers walk through the woods is a great way to cut back on the tick population. We're in Connecticut, so that's always an issue. We free range these birds. You might be able to see behind me there is a perimeter fence. We have this entire side of the property perimeter fenced. We do not have perimeter on that side where the woods are. However, having a farm dog around usually keeps the predators away during the day, and all these chickens at night will go into their coop, so they'll be nice and safe. So believe it or not, we do have a lot of free-range chickens, and we don't lose too many to predators, which is really nice. These are all egg-laying chickens. We have some that we've hatched ourselves. We have some we've bought from hatcheries. We have a rooster that's around here somewhere. The combination of 50 meat birds and usually about 10 egg layers, this gives our family enough chicken meat and eggs for the entire year. We don't have to buy eggs or chicken. If you want to learn a lot more about chickens, we have this playlist here. You can learn all about egg layers and meat chickens. Go ahead and check that playlist out. I'm not a really good gardener. Neither me or Kay really enjoy gardening more than the livestock. We do it a little bit each year. We've learned to invest our time less in gardens and much more in livestock. That said, every year we do plant something to surplus the meat that we get from this homestead. Here you'll see a bunch of potatoes that we planted. You can check that video out on how we planted the potatoes. There's also some onions growing behind me, and then further back you'll see where our permaculture kind of food forest is. Let's go take a look at that. Back through here is our permaculture food forest. We planted lots of trees and bushes and shrubs that produce all kinds of fruits and nuts. We have it fenced with this electric netting right now. In the future we will do a more permanent fence, but for now, to keep the deer out and any other things, we just quickly put up the movable electric. And it's solar powered. I got a charger right here being powered by the sun, keeping this protected, which is nice. We'll take a little walk through our food forest here. Here we have a Granny Smith apple tree. We have some dwarf and some full-size trees, strawberries. These are very cool. These are berries that will continue to produce. They don't just show up in June, but throughout the entire summer we'll be able to get strawberries. I see some growing right now. This is great. So we'll get strawberries here and they'll spread year after year. Perennials are great like that. They'll grow. Every year you'll get more and more from them. I don't even remember what this tree is. It's a nice big one though. We planted all kinds of different fruit and nut trees. Down here we have some raspberries. They have some thorns. That's okay, the good ones always do. We have some blueberry bushes back there. Dave from Northeast Edible designed this food forest for us with the goal of getting 6 months of fruit. If you want to learn more about our food forest here, the design, how we installed it, how we planted trees, go ahead and check out that playlist all about food, forests, and orchards. You'll notice we use wood mulch to keep the weeds down. I've mulched the path. There's some of the garden is not yet mulched. I gotta finish that because weeds are growing up like crazy. There are the piggies. Hey, piggy, piggy, piggies. Hey, piggy, piggies. Hey, piggy, piggy. Oh, hey, piggy. So here's our pig pen. You notice behind me is the pig pad. This is a concrete pad that we've poured. It's escape proof. There's a pig house there. It's where we feed the pigs. It's where their water is. If we ever need to lock down the pigs because the fence is down, we can put them in here. But for most of their life, the pigs have access to this run over here, which you can see pigs, they turn an enclosed area like this into the surface of the moon. They just turn it up. But they've been adding a lot of really good organic matter to this, and when the pigs are out of here, we'll be able to plant grass and it'll come up in no time. A lot of nutrients in here. It's a really hot day on the homestead here. You can see the pigs are enjoying their wallow. They create their wallow themselves. They run the water from the automatic waterer. It gets really wet in this area, and they love coming and splashing in the mud. You'll notice this year we've raised 6 pigs. We raised 3 of these for our own family. This year we went through 3 pigs. Every single part of this pig is edible. It's delicious from the nose to the tail. It's just great food for your family. Farm-raised pork is so much better than the pork that you buy at the supermarket. It's got a lot more flavor. It stays juicier. It's got delicious, good, healthy fat in it. In just 6 months, these pigs go from the little feeders that you purchase to 300-pound animals. And from that 300-pound animal, you can yield about 200 pounds, just a little bit less than 200 pounds of just amazing quality meat for your family. I love raising pigs every year. It's a great way to put a ton of meat for your family, and if you do like us, you raise more than you need, then you have something you can sell. If you want to learn more about raising pigs on your homestead, check out that playlist. Here we have the newest addition to our homestead. This is Ladybug. She's our Jersey. She's a cow that we have for milk. She's pregnant right now. She's due to calf in November. If she has a bull calf, we'll use that bull calf for meat. If she has a heifer, then we'll have another milk cow that we can either keep for our own family or sell to another homesteader. She's a mid-sized Jersey, which is a perfect size for our homestead. She'll give enough milk for our family with plenty of extra to use to feed the pigs, give to the chickens, use in the garden, make cheese with. Endless possibilities of how we can use the milk here. But she's not too large of a cow where it's harder for us to use her, harder to handle, and where she'll need a lot more pasture or run out of pasture on a smaller size homestead. Here we have some raised beds. We actually built these raised beds out of lumber from our own property. This is hemlock trees that we cut down a couple years back. We brought the big lengths of the trees to the sawmill, which is at the end of the road. And now every year, in addition to the garden that we do in the ground for things like potatoes and onions, things that take up a lot of space, we also fill our raised beds. This is a bit more of a kitchen garden, so we'll put tomatoes, we'll put herbs, some lettuces. And I like the raised beds because I can come out here, I can sit in a chair, have a beer, and weed my garden without hurting the back. It's a great way to get a lot of production easily, even in a small space. If you want to learn about our gardening methods, check out the playlist Gardening Made Easy. That's all about our fruits and our veggie efforts here on the homestead. Now I can show you our dirty laundry. Here we have our laundry hanging out to dry. We got a big one of those circular clotheslines. Just a little way to save some money in the summertime, use the power of the sun, cleaning the clothes. No homestead is complete without a clothesline. So there it is, the tour of our homestead. We'll close it up here. You can see our little farmhouse in the background. It's a small house, 1,600 square feet for a family of 6, but it's perfect for us. There's enough space for the kids inside. We heat it with wood, which throughout the wintertime saves us a lot of money. You can see we have production starting right out the door. We have fruit trees. We're harnessing the power of the sun. A homestead is all about producing more than you consume. A homestead is a productive place that produces for your family's food, for your family's fuel, for your family's energy needs. We love putting our homestead to work. It's my wife and I. We have 4 children from the ages of 7 all the way down to 1 year old. It's something that we've built slowly over time. I now work from home, but I didn't always work from home. We're using only about 2, maybe 3 acres right now. We are expanding that. But you can do it too, no matter what size property you have to work with, whether it's just a little apartment balcony or 10 acres, whether you work from home and you have as much time as you need, or you have a job and you only have a couple hours a day. We started off with me working full-time and her with a newborn baby, and we grew from there. I hope you enjoyed the tour of our homestead. You can learn a lot more about us by subscribing to this YouTube channel and subscribing to our podcast over on iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also head to our website, thisishomesteady.com, and sign up to the email list. All our big news goes out through that email list. You'll know everything that we're doing here on our homestead. Thanks for taking the tour of our homestead with us, and I hope that you continue to grow your own homestead along with us.